All right, welcome back. I'm really excited to kind of dig a little deeper into like what's driving this whole, Gulf appeal thing.
Me too.
Uh,
And while we were letting everything simmer there for a minute, I kept thinking about how all this stuff kind of connects back to like that media company blurb that we were talking about at the beginning.
yeah, the one that's like all about putting out like positive news, information that really matters.
And I feel like, this whole conversation that we're having is like a perfect example of that,
Really?
Like the article's not just telling us facts, it's painting this picture.
Yeah, like a narrative.
Yeah. And it can actually like impact people's choices,
Yeah.
Like where they decide to live, where they decide to work.
Right. And that brings up a really interesting point. Like, what if we were to, be more intentional about like the information that we consume? Like, what if we focus more on those positive aspects? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like ignore the problems,
Right.
But like, what if we actively sought out stories
Yeah.
that are, more uplifting, that are more about like progress, resilience, solutions?
I love that. It's like flipping the script, right? Because we're so bombarded with negative news.
Oh, totally.
That it's easy to forget that like good things are happening all the time.
Well, all the time, yeah. And think about like what kind of impact that would have if like collectively we were more aware of like the positive trends, the innovative solutions, the acts of kindness and collaboration that are happening every single day.
Yeah, I feel like it would totally shift our mindset.
It would. It would make us like more optimistic, more solution-oriented, more likely to like contribute to positive change ourselves.
Totally. It's almost like instead of just like passively consuming information,
Yeah.
we become like active participants in shaping a more positive narrative.
Totally. Both for ourselves
Yeah.
and for like the world around us.
Yeah. And I think that's where, the Gulf countries, like their story as it's presented in this article,
Yeah.
it's such a good example of that.
It is.
It's like that positive change, the ambition.
The innovation,
Yeah.
that willingness to like push boundaries.
Yeah. Challenge the status quo.
And it really resonates with people who are, looking for something different, looking for something better.
It's like they're not just building a society, they're crafting like a narrative,
Totally.
this story that attracts people who want to be like a part of something bigger than themselves.
And I think that's where like individual choice intersects with collective action, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are drawn to the Gulf.
Yeah.
Obviously, the financial benefits are huge.
Yeah, for sure.
But I also think it's the opportunity to be part of a society that is like actively shaping its own destiny.
Totally. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy,
Yeah.
Like the more people believe in this positive narrative, the more they contribute to making it real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes us back to that question I asked before,
Yeah.
if you were going to create content that highlights like positive global trends, what story would you tell?
Ooh, that's a good question. It makes you think about like what you really value.
Yeah. What inspires you?
Yeah.
And what kind of impact you want to make?
Totally. And it doesn't have to be like this grand narrative. you
Yeah,
know?
not at all. It can be like something super simple,
Yeah.
like sharing a story about like a local community that came together to solve a problem.
Yeah, or like an individual
Yeah.
who's making a difference in their own little way.
Exactly. Because I think we all have this power,
Yeah.
to be storytellers, to amplify those voices and perspectives that are often like overlooked.
Yeah, overshadowed by all the negativity.
Exactly.
Makes it right.
And those stories, like those individual acts of positivity and progress,
Yeah.
they can have a ripple effect.
Yeah.
They can inspire others to do the same.
Yeah, create like this wave of positive change.
Exactly. And that's what I think makes this whole conversation about the Gulf countries so relevant,
Yeah, it's not just about like one region or one group of people.
Yeah.
It's like about the choices that we make, the stories that we choose to tell, the future that we want to create.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected, that our actions have consequences,
Totally.
and that we have the power to shape the world around us one story at a time.
I love that. And that leads us to another really interesting piece of this whole Gulf appeal thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This idea of like adventure and exploration.
Yeah, I like that.
Like stepping outside of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
immersing yourself in something totally new.
Yeah, the article definitely touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, but I feel like we could like go deeper there.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, the allure of the Gulf is that like It's exotic.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's a chance to experience a different culture, a different pace of life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like that human drive to explore,
Totally.
to discover new things.
And the Gulf, it's like this unique blend of modernity and tradition.
Totally.
Yep.
It's
It's familiar in some ways, but also completely unknown in others.
It's like a cultural crossroads.
Oh, yeah.
Where East meets West.
It is.
And ancient traditions are right alongside, cutting edge technology.
And that tension,
Yeah.
between the old and the new.
Yeah.
So stimulating, so inspiring.
It's like you're stepping into this living tapestry.
I love that.
That's woven with all these threads from different cultures,
Yeah.
different histories, different belief systems.
Yeah, and you're not just observing it.
Yeah.
You're part of it.
Yeah.
You're adding your own thread to the design.
And that experience of immersing yourself in something so different.
It's transformative.
Yeah.
It challenges your assumptions.
Totally.
It expands your perspective.
Yeah, it's like you're upgrading your operating system or something.
I love that.
Expanding your capacity for understanding and empathy.
And those are essential qualities, especially nowadays.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't forget about the whole personal growth piece.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think for a lot of people, that's a big part of why they're drawn to the Gulf.
Totally. It's
Yeah.
they're seeking a catalyst for change.
Yeah, a way to break out of their routine.
Yeah, to embrace those new possibilities.
Yeah. And the Gulf, it's the perfect setting for that,
It's like a crucible.
Oh, I like that.
Where you're forced to confront your own limitations,
Yeah.
your biases, your comfort zones.
And through that process.
You come out stronger,
Yeah.
more confident,
Yeah.
more self-aware.
It's like a rite of passage almost, right?
Totally. You're leaving behind venturing into the unknown.
Yeah.
And through that journey, you're proving something to yourself. You're discovering hidden strengths and resilience that you didn't even know you had.
Wow, we've covered so much ground here.
I know. It's amazing.
From the financial incentives.
To the cultural complexity.
Yeah, the geopolitics, the adventure.
Personal growth.
Yeah, moving to the Gulf is clearly a decision with a lot of
Big implications.
big implications. Yeah.
It is.
So before we wrap up, I just want to bring it back to you.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, what are your thoughts now?
What's resonating with you?
Yeah, has this conversation sparked anything new?
Any questions?
Any reflections? We'd love to hear what you're thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So take a moment, process everything.
And we'll be right back.
Yeah, we'll be back in just a sec to kind of tie all these threads together
Yeah.
and look at the bigger picture of all this. Welcome back. I mean, wow, it's really kind of amazing how much there is to consider when we really start to dig into a topic like this.
It is. We've gone from the financial stuff to personal growth to even this idea of consciously choosing positive information.
Right.
And it all connects in these really interesting ways.
Yeah, it does. And I think that kind of brings us to this really important point about, the individual versus the collective.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We talked about, why someone might choose to move to the Gulf, what's in it for them personally. Yeah. But what about the bigger picture? What does this whole trend tell us about, the world that we're living in right now?
I think it speaks to this growing global mobility.
Okay.
This willingness to cross borders and embrace new opportunities and new ways of life.
Yeah, it's not just about the Gulf.
No.
It's happening everywhere.
It's a global thing.
Yeah, people are more interconnected than ever.
For sure. And they're more adaptable, more willing to push their boundaries a little bit.
It's the world is becoming a smaller place, but not just physically,
Right, mentally too. We're exposed to so many more cultures, ideas, ways of life than ever before.
Yeah. And I feel that exposure, it's creating this greater sense of interconnectedness.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
even as we celebrate our differences.
Exactly. It's this paradox,
Yeah.
where we're becoming more aware of our own unique identities,
Yeah.
our own cultural heritages.
Right.
But at the same time, we're recognizing our shared humanity,
Yeah.
our common ground as, citizens of the world.
Yeah, it's we're learning to appreciate both the individual notes and the whole
harmony.
the harmony of the orchestra.
I love that.
Yeah.
And you can really see that reflected in the Gulf countries themselves.
How so?
They're becoming more and more diverse,
Oh, okay.
attracting people from all over the world.
Yeah.
It's like creating this melting pot of cultures
Yeah.
and perspectives.
It's like this giant social experiment
It is.
to see like how far can we push cultural integration.
Exactly.
And yeah, there's definitely challenges.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it's also like a really cool example of how like different cultures can like come together and like make something new, you know?
And it's like constantly evolving, which makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
But we can all play a part in shaping it.
That's such a great takeaway, you know? It's not just about like watching the trends happen.
Yeah.
It's about being a part of them.
Exactly.
You know, shaping them, contributing to that like collective story.
Absolutely.
So as you kind of like continue your own journey, whether that's, you know, moving to the Gulf or just like exploring these ideas from afar.
Yeah.
Remember, like, you have a voice.
You do.
You have a perspective.
You have a story.
A story to tell.
Yeah.
And it matters.
And that story, even if it seems small, it really can like make a difference.
Yeah.
It can contribute to the bigger picture. It can shape the world around us.
It really can. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
We hope this like sparked some curiosity, you know?
Yeah. Challenged your assumptions a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe even inspired you to see the world in a like new way.
Keep exploring, keep learning, keep telling your story.
Beautifully said. Until next time, everybody.